we have something, and we're going to show you something that will make you feel like a paper artist.
Ooh, and it's going to be our brand new cutting dies, and apparently good things come in threes because we have 3 leaves and 3 Lacy labels.
Does that sound intriguing? I think it is. Come play with us. Well, here they are, 3 leaves and 3 Lacy labels, but we're going to show them separately. So we're going to start with this.
With 3 Lacy labels, and here's a sample of what they look like, the die cuts that you can create with those.
And the first thing we have to confess is, okay, you actually get more, right? There are 6 pieces in here?
Right, so there's 3 cutting dies, but with each cutting die, they cut out a center as well. So you've got this outer frame, and then you've got the piece here that comes out of the center of that frame, like that.
Okay.
And you've got this piece and the piece that comes out of its center, etc. And so there's lots of fun things to play with there.
Okay, so 3 Lacy labels, but 6 pieces.
But 6 pieces.
Okay, now what can you do with them? Well, let's first use them all together. I mean, why not? And isn't this gorgeous? It is cutting them out of the patterned paper and then layering it. And I love this idea. We'll back up, thank you, John, just a little bit. So we've got the rectangle going lengthwise, and then another one going horizontally, and then another one inside.
Inside of it. And you can actually, this one here in particular, you can set it on top of this suede paper like I did, and then cut out around it so it's backed. So you've backed one, and then you've set this, you've backed this one, and set that on top of there. I love that the small one has these little holes at the ends so that you can put a ribbon through there or something else like that.
Nice. Now, speaking of that one, the get well that you used comes from the Tiny Words and Phrases Dazzles. And this has got 130 of those, and get well is 1.
Right.
So that works.
And it's also, there's the, here we go, the white Lacy Dazzles.
Lacy
on the
borders.
edges, Lacy border dazzles.
And then I don't think we've shown these. They're from Want to Scrap, and they're the pearl swirls. But look at what cutting and using bits and pieces will do to your finished project. I mean, gorgeous.
Just cut off the parts that you need. You just got a little bit tucking out so you can save the rest for other uses.
And as you know, these are adhesive, so they're going to pull off as a swirl or wherever you cut.
Right.
And then isn't that suede, black suede, just spectacular on this?
That's always great for a great focal. It just makes everything pop.
It does. Well, that's one look. Now let's get a tone-on-tone white look, and here is what's been done, and this is just beautiful. I mean, it just has a richness to it.
Right, and the frames are actually done on cardstock.
White cardstock.
White cardstock, and this one in particular, I'm going to show you something that Lene did with that. She glued it and then used some of our crystal micro glitter.
Oh, okay. So show us.
So there's the label there.
Okay.
And you just take your glue stick and easily, I'm going to take the lid off. There we go. Easily go over your die cut like this.
Now sometimes we're reluctant to take a glue stick to something that looks so delicate, but that's okay.
Well, when it's on cardstock, it's pretty easy to do. It'd be a lot harder, and I'm going to move it around as I sort of get glue all over the back of it too, but it's going to be a lot harder if you do it on paper, thinner paper.
Okay.
And then I've got this crystal micro glitter here, this stuff that goes a really long way.
Now this is clear, so you'll see, and we need to.
It's clear. It's got this hint of I don't know what you call that look, that sort of a phosphorescence
kaleidoscope
look or something. Yeah, kaleidoscope look.
Is that a good?
That's a good one.
So you're just tapping it over.
Shake it on there. Tap it off.
Okay, and then we'll scoot this over.
And
you're going to wiggle it so we
can see. I am wiggling.
See.
Can you see it? It's very hard to see, but on that card it shows up pretty well.
It does. And let me bring the card back just so you can see. And, you know, I don't know that I would have thought of that elegant glitter on the micro glitter on the cardstock,
On
but it just,
cardstock.
especially on the white, it's just beautiful. So now we've got some butterflies here, and we've got some butterflies here, and these are the Lacy Butterfly Dazzles, and you can simply take them, turn them over, and do the micro glitter on the adhesive side.
Sure, that's a good idea.
And because they are, it doesn't make any difference of the image. It's not a word.
Right.
So it's not going to get
and then just zot them on.
Yeah.
There's also liquid pearls on there, so if you look around, the little bits of
Oh.
the frame is highlighted with liquid pearls.
Okay, and I'm not sure the camera is going to pick that up, but
There,
right
there you go.
there, there's
they
a
look
liquid
like
pearl.
pearls and little self-adhesive
do.
pearls, but out of a bottle.
And it looks like that same micro glitter on the dazzle was done on the border on the dazzle sheet.
Right, so right along the top.
Yeah, and this is what the dazzle sheet looks like. So it's got butterflies and circles and individually and all along, but just beautiful. And then the inside, we have more of the dazzles and more of the cutting dies and more of the micro glitter.
So just a little bit of color in this Sunshine and Shadows paper pack in that small border there, and then the Just Because from the Tiny Words and Phrases dazzles.
So pretty. So nice way to go. And so we've used the frames together, and here's another example.
This one's got a lot more color involved.
It does.
This is from the new Gypsy Jewels paper pack, and we've got the Gypsy Jewel Flowers 3D paper towel up here as our huge focal.
We do, and here's what that looks. And of course, that foiling is just so spectacular. But I also like how just tucking that label underneath, and this one has been cut out of the suede paper.
Right.
So that black suede that we showed you, this time it's been cut out of the purple.
Out of purple suede.
And I think using the specialty papers like that just adds such a wonderful
Right.
dimension to it.
Right. I like that there's, you've got the layering over here with foam tape on your flowers, and then you've got layering over here echoing it, but it's all just glued on top of each other. You don't have to foam tape
Right.
everything.
And now this also has some of the silver
Jewel
dazzles. So just in case you didn't get enough shine over here,
Just a
you
little
could
bit right
add.
there. Yeah, there are unique little spots that just seem made for them.
No, that wasn't designed. It just was a happy accident. That's how we had it. Okay, so we've seen the multiple layers together. Now let's separate them like so. And so this is just using two of them.
Just two of them, one of them foam taped and one of the labels just set on top. And this is from the Simply Susan paper pack.
It is, but it's using those same white butterflies,
Right.
dazzles, because it's got words on it as well as more.
I like that they're backed a little bit so you can see them pretty well on here.
And this is that same border
The
that
same
was
border.
done with the micro glitter, yeah.
And just a few banners cut out of the paper, and that accents it.
It does such a nice job. And inside, three more of the cutting
And
dies.
this is great. So this is the part that's actually from the inside of this frame, and it's been, the edges of it have been inked, and
Right.
it's foam taped up just a little bit.
Just really a little
Yeah.
tiny bit, and then more of the dazzles over there. So lovely, lovely. Well, here's another way that you can use them separately, and this is just the largest frame, I think. Is that right?
That is the largest frame.
Okay, and we have...
And then this was the label from the inside of that
Right.
frame.
And that label was computer journaled before it was cut, and that way you can position your cutting die exactly where you want it.
Right.
And that works quite perfectly. Some of the wildflowers with the pave crystals inside, just giving, again, some shine. And we've done some of our mixed media on this,
Right.
of taking the white distress paint and then layering all of our pieces.
So this is a little bit more of an adventurous look, and you can look at one of our other webisodes for
Right.
the mixed media techniques, gives you a recipe on how to do that.
And as a matter of fact, speaking of that same thing, here is a page that was done at the same time. And again, you can see just using these cutting die pieces, it just works so well.
Right, so you got it in several different areas. There's one over here that's just sort of tucked under and one here. And you've got that inner label that's in there as well. So
Now-
it's that green that you see back there.
Now this one too, it might be that you could just cut one and cut it in half. Use
Sure,
it here,
use it
use it over
twice.
there. Yeah.
And then you've got the medium-sized label right down here with the centerpiece
With the
in a different
centerpiece.
color.
Okay, beautifully done. I don't know that I've ever seen these used as accents as they are on this page.
Right.
And
you seem to want to use them for a label, to frame something.
as a focal.
Right.
And I think, you know, changing our thinking and saying, okay, I can use this as an accent as I would a flower or as I would a brad. I just need to think in terms of it supporting, in this case, my photos.
Right.
And so I challenge you to take some of the cutting dies and do the pieces and see how you can use them in with your scrapbooking just like it was done here. I think
Sure.
that's just pretty doggone neat. And speaking of scrapbooking and speaking of pretty doggone neat, look at this charming one.
This is cute. A kind of a whimsical way of using those labels. They look very, very petite and cute down here.
Right, but
And-
they're also sparkly as
They're also
any little
sparkly.
3-year-old or older or younger.
or little fairy princess or whatever would love
You
to
know
be.
who you are out there. I also love it like this, of just framing that sweet little girl.
And just offset like that.
And
That is so
offset like
cute.
that. Yeah, I would never have thought of doing that. Thank you, Amy, for doing this.
No, Amy, this is Lorian.
This is Lorian. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I think Amy started it and Lorian finished it. It was a group effort.
It was a group effort.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to show us how to get that look?
Right. We're starting out with the encrusted jewels, and this is the teal encrusted jewel kit.
Okay, and it comes with 5 pieces inside, 5 bottles.
Right. So here I have the label that was
Okay.
used, that was already die cut out there. And I'm going to start. I'm actually going to, it's going to be a little bit hard for you to see for a minute, but it's worth it.
Bear with us.
I've got Versamark, and that makes me dangerous. Okay, here we go.
It does? Should I know something before you get started?
I'm going to Versamark the die cut like
Okay.
this. Get it good and inked up. And once I have that all over it, then I've got from my encrusted jewel kit, I am taking out the aged teal embossing enamel
Okay.
and the detail capri embossing powder.
Okay, embossing enamel and embossing
And
powder.
embossing powder.
Okay.
And I'm going to kind of, oh, that's why, the reason I did it on the paper first is because you get Versamark all over this, then you don't want to put your embossing powders on it.
So there
because-
was a reason
Yeah, it'll
that you
stick
just
all over
remembered.
it. Just remembered it. So I'm going to do this, and let's see, I'm going to do it on this end
Okay.
and on this end. And then I'm going to put that
Another
embossing
color?
tinsel
Right on
the
top.
other. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
So
gonna-
you're just going to let those two
just
mix.
a little bit. I'm gonna Mix
Okay.
them up just a little.
I also wouldn't have thought of doing that. Okay.
Oh yeah, I love mixing the. That's what's fun about the encrusted jewels kit. You
Okay.
can sort of mix and match and see what happens.
Now, a little
Okay.
bit is white there. Are you going to worry about that?
Well, right now I'm not.
Okay.
I just a little bit of it popped through on there too, and I thought if you're
Okay.
worried about it, in fact, I won't even do that. If you're worried about it, pick up a little and. Just
Should I
sort
not
of-
have said that?
No, actually, it's fine. It brings up the point to how picky are you about how do you want it to look? Do you want it to look very fancy, or do you want it to look a little bit
Distressed.
loose?
So I'm going to pull this away so we
Okay.
don't have this flying all over.
All right, now I can set this here.
Okay.
I'm going to get out my heat gun.
Your heat tool.
Heat tool. And before I start that, I don't like to hold this with my fingers because
Yes.
it's so covered with it, so I'm going to hold it down. Just put something through one of the holes so
Right.
it won't fly away.
So a pencil or a bamboo skewer
Sure.
or anything.
Anything like that.
You know, the embossing sort of never ceases to amaze me. I'm just always tickled at the magic that it creates. Why don't I hold the other side of it
Okay,
just so
great.
it doesn't go dancing?
And it's already taken off.
It is.
everywhere.
Can you see the glitter going?
There
So-
with the glitter, and here goes the enamel at the other end.
Right.
So it doesn't take much. There we go.
Okay, so you have, I'm going to pick it up, the mix. Oh, it does look very shabby chic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, very fun. And that's what was done on our little princess here.
Up around the top. So you can, you can see a little bit of it, the mix of it there, a little bit of gold, a little bit of blue.
So on that, as well as the pieces down here.
Down here, it was just the detail capri embossing tinsel that was used.
Okay, so that's the difference. And just notice that how the white lacy borders are working nicely, and more of the pave crystals.
Oh,
so
yeah. the little blue pave crystals down there. Those are great. I love that this is the big wide ribbon from the Penelope set. This is the Penelope paper set, the Penelope ribbon set. And Amy put this on here and sort of folded it over and glued just every once in a while and left a little pleat there. That was a nice,
really
little
pretty,
technique.
very pretty look. Okay, so that is our exploration, or our beginning of our exploration of the 3 labels that are really 6. Now we're going to go into the leaves. There are 3 leaves, which we're pretty sure are just 3. Now, you'll notice that these are showing white, and that's because there is a foam in it. That foam can be used on some cutting dies, not all of them, but where it can be used, we certainly apply it, and it will help release the paper.
Right.
On all of the Paper Artist packages, you're going to get an idea, and we're going to show you that particular one.
Sure. So here's what they look like individually. I found this particular cutting die to be one of our most versatile. I mean, it just seems like you can use it in a lot of different ways. So I kind of like to show you some of the other papers that it can be done on.
Okay.
This is just 3 different colors so you can see them.
So this is cardstock.
These are just done in cardstock.
Okay.
This is done on gold metallic paper, which I just love. And something special that you can do is, I'm going to pull this over just a little bit, is you can do it on black suede like this, and then you can set them on top of each other and just offset a little bit.
So you've created a shadow.
Make a shadow.
The idea behind these cutting leaves are skeleton leaves, which you'll see in the autumn and the winter.
In fall, right.
Right, and so that was the idea.
This is kind of neat on the holographic paper. That's the red fireworks. But you can use them on any of them. It is such a beautiful look.
Look at that.
Yeah, you'll see a little bit of that in our designs. And this is just on parchment. I'm sorry.
Vellum.
Vellum.
Okay.
On vellum. And you can use that in a lot of different ways. I think it would be neat to set that on top of another layer of something, you know, or see something.
Because you've got the translucent.
Sure.
Yes, pretty.
Yeah.
Again, specialty papers are just great with cutting dies. Well, you talked about the gold paper and the black suede and making shadows. This is the example that's on the back of the packaging. So you can see that this has been used, and it's with Nature's Touch or Nature's Touch.
North Country. You're
Okay.
right. That's on North Country.
And how beautiful. I mean, the other nice thing about the leaves is that this is a sympathy card. And, you know, sometimes it's hard to find images that will work, but isn't this pretty? And we have a solid one that was cut out using the cutting die as an example.
So that's on the inside.
Right.
Something I'd kind of like to show you. We've had people ask after getting intricate die cuts like this, how do you glue them down? They say the glue gets everywhere, and so I have kind of a technique that I use.
Good.
I turn it over, and instead of using my glue stick back and forth like that, I go up and down. I always go up and down all around the edges.
Oh, so you're tapping it.
So you're just tapping it. That way you're not getting this big glob of glue across the edges of it. So just an up and down, and then stick it on. It works great.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you. So nice to have a designer on task. This is, I think, kind of unexpected, because to do red leaves, just, I don't know, it just seems really kind of a surprise to me. And I like this, doing the happy birthday. And we also have some of the jewel dazzles. These are the black jewel dazzles popping in there.
So those are the black glitter happy birthday
It is.
greetings.
And then I'm think that we have another cutting die we forgot to talk about.
There they are. See?
Thank you. Happy birthday. There it is with the silver edge. This is a corner. It's a fancy corner cutting die. I do have to tell you that this is in limited quantities, so if this is an interest, you'll want to.
And there are two of them there. It's kind of hard to see. There's the actual corner, and there's a mat for it as well.
Right, and then of course in this particular case we didn't use the mat, and we've got it on the opposite corners. And I think the nice thing about actually all of these dies we're showing you today is how versatile they are.
Yeah.
They're not limited to one theme or anything.
Or not even one color. Sometimes people look at leaves and they think they can only use them a certain way.
Right.
And I try to use them in every different color I can think of and see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea. Well, here is your shadowing, but this time in green.
This time in green.
Which I like.
And if you look very closely, you can see the tiny words and phrases dazzles on the veins of the leaf.
Happy thoughts.
Simple joys.
Oh, wow. Very neat. And then up here we have blessings in the whole shape.
In the whole shape, which you can actually use to trace and cut out the shape, which is what I did.
You've got the cutting die. Okay, I was kind of wondering how you did that.
Yep.
So just trace it. And then on the inside, I love this streaming, that flow of them.
The fall leaves.
And then that little tiny thinking of you, which I think is just so lovely
and it's beautiful. This is again, this is the Gypsy Jewels paper pack, and that's that ombre look of the green.
Works so well. Now, we've shown you leaves as leaves. Now, let's show them to you as a flower.
That's a great use of the cutting die, which if you look close, first of all, it's done on a patterned paper, the dots from the red velvet 6x6 paper pack.
And that's kind of a micro dot. It's really tiny.
Really tiny. So it was cut out in that. Then they were placed on vellum and glued onto vellum, and then the edges were cut around so that each one is backed, and you can see through each one. They're just
so there's a lot of things going on here. The first thing I'm looking at is a brown flower. That's a surprise, and yet, and I agree with you. I love the vellum. I just think so pretty. Then on the inside, we've just left it blank and used the red velvet papers
and a few jewel dazzles.
A few of them. This next card I think is brilliant, and I think you did it, didn't you?
I did it.
Okay, let's get in so you can see it, because I want you to see the depth of it. So you're seeing this, is this the Lacy? Oh, no, that's the
this is the design tool.
Right.
I can't remember which one it was.
I think it's number one.
I think it's number one.
Yeah.
So what's here? I'm going to show you something, a sample here.
There you go.
So here's a window cut out. And when you do your cutting die, you're going to get this window left over. And so this is the shape. Or if you were to put the design tool on top of here, then you would just trace around, and then you'd have this plate that goes on the top. And I did it. Let's see. I glued the paper to black cardstock. I think I cut it out first, and then I cut the center out so that I had this window, and then I just foam taped it above one of the die cuts set on the paper.
So you've got the depth of it. If we can get in close, I just want you to see that, because it's very prominent in person on the card. So this is lower, and this panel that you've talked about is higher. It's foam taped on top.
The reason I did that is I looked at that and I thought, gee, I'd sure like to foam tape that leaf up above. And I thought, well, that would be so hard to do.
That's crazy talk.
Oh, I know. I'll do it opposite. So you've still got that shadowy look.
It's striking. It's just striking. And then on the inside, you've used that same shape and simply put your leaf on it. And a little tiny best wishes up there, which is just really sweet.
And that's from just a little greeting stamp set. They fit everywhere, up here too.
Yeah, so we've got happy anniversary, but this is, and again, this is a good card for masculine or feminine, which I appreciate. Now, going tiny, you can also do tags, so you're not limited to pages or cards, and this has been colored in with smooch?
With smooch. So those are tags from a tag set that we carry. There's a whole lot of tags that come in with it.
Right, and I think that's the classic set.
Right. And the leaf you see, it's been die cut. It was actually die cut on silver specialty paper. and then glued on to the tag. And then I used taffy pink to fill it in.
Smooch.
Taffy pink smooch. And I also used taffy pink and whatever that is, the purple one,
grape
soda smooch on the flowers around here. And then to top it all off, I used silver stickles. And I actually went all over the paper with the silver stickles.
Okay.
And then on the flowers, etc.
Wow.
And
It's so striking.
Yeah, and this is from the Friends of Family Dazzles.
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty simple. It's fun to make a cute little tag like
Well,
that.
and getting into the holiday season, you can use this technique with the leaves on certainly on all sorts of projects and all sorts of gifts. So,
an easy way to embellish something.
and our scrapbooking, we've got a couple spectacular ones for you. Here's the first.
This is so cute. It just pops. I mean, the kids' faces alone, they're just adorable. This glitter paper in the back is just a great way to accent what's going on, and then just a little extra are the leaves, the die-cut leaves on the Green Circles holographic paper.
Right, so you've got the holographic against the glitter. Now, let me show you the glitter paper. It comes in sheets that are 8 1/4 by 11 3/4, I believe. There is a yellow, there's a red, and there's a green. They're self-adhesive. So being a specialty paper, you can use them in big pieces, you can use them in small pieces.
Right.
But that self-adhesive is just kind of a nice little extra. And you can see that the green was used in a big piece. We'll have to back up just a little bit to see that. And then the red has been used in a strip, and then a small square over here. And then you're going to show something else.
These are the candy stripe accents, and you can see those up at the top up here. There's 3 of them.
Okay, 3 up there.
And they are self-adhesive. You get
You get a dozen,
12 of
yeah.
that, yeah.
And then here's one on top of this stamp. Now, this is the Christmas Cheer stamp set.
Right.
And what I think is brilliant is what's been done with the glitter foil.
with the glitter foil.
Yeah.
So it's been stamped also on that glitter foil that you saw in Stays-On or Surfaces ink.
Right.
And then each part of the ribbon was cut out, and because it's self-adhesive, you can just stick it right back on there.
That is just, I've not seen that done with the stamps. So
Oh, that's really cute.
That's very nice. And you said that all of the green leaves are cut out of the circle holographic paper.
Right.
Okay. We did find that the self-adhesive paper, we thought it would work well with the cutting dies, but in practice we weren't happy with the results.
It was a little problematic.
Yeah, so we're really encouraging the use as a specialty paper, and the advantage is that it is self-adhesive. And I'll tell you, I think this is just brilliant. I think it's a brilliant way to use it.
It's great, and there's red jewel dazzles on there. It looks like a design tool was used to get a little frame going around here.
So very pretty, very shiny. And are you now ready for what I think is just absolutely gorgeous? And this is, again, the leaf. Now, this has been cut in the suede paper, the brown suede.
Right.
And what else did you use?
This is patterned paper from the Stolen Moments paper pack.
Okay.
And I actually glimmer misted it after I did it, so you get a nice little glow on there.
Nice idea. So you can do, I guess that's one thing that we're showing you, is that certainly the cutting dies are wonderful, but you can use them out of specialty paper, but then you can do things to them.
You can do things to them.
Yeah, like,
sure.
Like the encrusted jewels.
You know,
like
something that we haven't seen that I would absolutely do with this in a flat minute is I would take one of these, set it on paper, and take some ink and start going around it like that with a sponge, remove it, and then you have a silhouette of a leaf.
Oh yeah, good idea. So lots and lots.
There are lots of things you can do with them. What's neat about this is what I liked is that I was just able to make all of these die cuts, just make a whole bunch of them, and then just start layering them all around this beautiful photo that just needed just a little bit of a framing down below and up around the top.
And I guess that's what's nice about the cutting dies, is you're going to have as many as you want.
Sure.
And by having this set of 3, boy, you can really do that spray. I don't think there's a person on the planet other than you, my friend, who would have thought of doing leaves with a newborn.
Oh, really?
And I think it's brilliant.
Okay.
I really do.
Well, autumn gifts. That was the
That was
the
your
thing that I
thinking?
thought. And here, 3 of the leaves that you see here was actually, I took the actual die, cutting die, and traced around it, and then cut out these little pieces. I journaled first, a computer journal, and then I
Right.
traced around them. And
So
cut
you've
them
got
out.
his full name, and then we've got the year. And again, this is the corner die. And
There's that corner die with
this,
the mat included
right.
this time.
And this again is the brown suede. So we've got that on opposite corners as you've got the leaves on the 2 opposite. And while this is just lush and full and beautiful, this isn't anything to shake at either. I mean, it's just really pretty coming out of the corner. So
It would be fun to do something like that on the front of a card, just a cluster of leaves all coming out like that.
definitely it would. So whether you're into leaves or you're into lacy frames or you want a corner or two, we've got you covered.
We've got it all.